Well, I'm currently in the center of what was once the Jewish ghetto in Krakow, Poland. This is a much more personal visit than many of the other places I've been to in Europe because, as I'm sure most of you didn't know, my family members lived here prior to World War II. Well, my closest relatives, my great-grandparents, who I knew my great-grandmother. She passed when I was 17 years old, so I knew her very well. And she was a Holocaust survivor, and she grew up in the town of Będzin, which is a little bit east of Katowice. So we're here in Krakow, which is also not very far away. And of course, there were other relatives of my family who lived here, and my great-grandparents would have been here many a times. And I think even I have some relatives who are buried in the cemeteries around here. So each of these chairs, these metal chairs that are permanently set up, represents 1,000 Jews who were held in the Krakow ghetto during World War II and ultimately sent to concentration camps. Definitely very surreal for me to be here. And I'll be going to Auschwitz tomorrow, which will also be quite a powerful experience. And what else can I say in regard to the Holocaust and my heritage? All throughout my youth, when I was growing up, I was interested in this history because I knew it was my family story. I knew it's the reason that I grew up in the US. If it weren't for anti-Semitism in Europe, there's no reason my parents would have been in the United States and met there. So it's definitely very much a part of my story. So my great-grandparents were one of the lucky few who were able to return to their hometown after the war and find one another. I think they had already married just before. At the very least, they were together. And they went back to their hometown after the war to find each other. And what I have to imagine was one of the most loving embraces in the history of the world. And thus, my grandmother was conceived. And Booby, I'm sure you're watching this. Much love to you. Okay, I'm now outside of Oskar Schindler's factory. Felt it would be important just to come here. I don't need to go inside because I saw the movie. But definitely a great man. Once inhabited this place. I bet Schindler, I don't know, in the movie he seemed like kind of a horny guy. So maybe he just thought one of the Jews was like a little attractive, and then when they started like killing them, he was like, wait, I have a crush on one of them, so let me at least try to save her. And then he got caught up trying to save an entire population. I don't know, just joking around, guys. Well, this is where it happened. Over 1 million Jews murdered here in Auschwitz concentration camp. Well, it's a good thing I fasted today because I surely would have lost my food. Obviously, pretty speechless, but this is just such a disgusting place, I have to tell you. It just reeks of disgust every square inch. And when I go inside of these buildings, they have the exhibits in there. I can hardly even breathe. I came with a tour group and I obviously left them because I'm not gonna walk around as an unfree man in Auschwitz of all places. So I'm on my own. I could have used a much harsher analogy to walking into those confined spaces strapped to your tour guide, but I won't. And I feel more than anything, I mean, I already know how this story ends, so I'm not here to learn exactly. But I do feel like I'm here to be with the souls who passed through this place and moved on to the next world, and to just be with them. And what the fuck can I say? In this gas chamber, suffering is consecrated in the walls, where the screams are still audible.
La